What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to break down my trades from the morning. I'm sitting in the green here on High Roller. This is the same stock that I had my biggest trade of the year on back in January. In January, the company put out news that they're getting into the prediction market space like Kalshi and some of these polymarket companies. And they were going to do that through a partnership with crypto.com. So that news came out in January, and the stock at that time squeezed from what was about $2 a share all the way up to a high of about $36, as you could see right here. So an incredible move. Then it sells off. The company does a secondary offering, raising more money, the float goes up, and it sort of bottoms out here. Today, it pops up again. Well, what was the headline? The headline was that they've executed the agreement that they signed previously. So that didn't feel to me like a super substantial headline. I really didn't expect it to make this big of a move, especially considering that attention clearly is still on penny stocks. Look at these lower price stocks right here and the amount of volume that they've got. This is like 700 million shares of volume just between the two leading gainers. So SNAL, PMNT, I mean, these are just cranking on volume. Yesterday we had, what was it? I've got to check the continuation scanner. We had one yesterday that RMSG that made a really big move, like 400 or 500%. And as you know, I don't usually trade these well. These are stocks that there's a lot of penny stock traders out there that are speculative beginner traders who'll just put in $10,000. They throw it in. They're not even doing share size. They're just doing, I'm putting in 10,000 and let's see if this doubles today. And if it goes to 20,000, they're selling. And it's a very different mentality of, quote trading. It's not really the type of day trading that I would consider myself to be or to do. It's much more speculative. But, when I first got into the market, I was looking for penny stocks because, those were the type of stocks that I thought with a small account I should be trading. I think, $10,000 of a penny stock. And if this thing ends up going up, 2x, I'll make, I'll double my money. So these continue to garner a lot of attention among retail traders, especially beginner traders. And there are a lot of beginners in the market. So the result from, the last few days of these types of moves is that traders keep looking for the next one. So today, SNAL, lots of volume. This one's been very popular. PMNT, popular earlier, but pulling back a little bit. This one started the move after hours. So from like 15, 20, or 20, 30 cents all the way up to 80 cents. In any case, High Roller comes out with this news here, and the news came out at 8 a.m. It starts popping up, as you could see right here. Interestingly, the stock had already popped up a little bit yesterday and after hours, and even was popping up at 7:45 this morning. And then the news comes out. See, that's already a little suspicious. So the news comes out, and when I pull up the stock, the first thing I noticed was that it is easy to borrow. So as you can see right here, there's a big E, which means the stock is free to borrow. You don't have to pay to locate shares. Usually when stocks are easy to borrow, they're a little bit more crowded at the beginning of the move, and this one certainly was. So it starts grinding up, but it's a little bit slower to pull away, and I sort of had low expectations for it. I looked on the daily chart, and I observed that there were a couple of interesting areas, 749 right there, and then back here was 673. And when it first popped up, it was at like $5. 617 right here, and then kind of down in this area here, 585. So then as it broke these levels, I was like, well, geez, now we've got room up to 948, the high right here. And then we've got room up to 10. If we break that level, we've got room up to 1175. And look at that, almost right to the penny. Okay, so these daily levels are definitely respected. So how did I trade it? Well, I didn't trade it for the beginning of the move. I kept thinking, why don't I just wait to see if this thing can hold up? By the way, we had a CMND earlier this morning that popped up and ended up, what is CMND at today? Let's just check. CMND is now down 37% on the day. They posted clinical trials, which appeared positive. It meets primary endpoint in FDA-approved phase 1/2A clinical trial for alcohol use disorder. And now the stock's down 37%. I don't understand it. I really don't. So this had just done this kind of round trip move. This started at 7:30. There's another stock that was weak this morning. I can't remember the ticker. But in any case, I thought when ROLR popped up, I was like, I don't know, let's just see. It's probably going to pop up, roll over, and then maybe there'll be a curl later. but it kept kind of just moving higher, right? So it goes from 6 up to 650, kind of watching it, but I was like, I don't know, it's easy to borrow. I don't think I should jump in here. Then it goes up to 7, then up to 745, then a little topping tail. So I'm like, all right, maybe that's the high. Then it pulls back. Then it goes up to 750. Then it pulls back. Then it taps 8. All right, whole dollar. That's probably it. We start to get a red candle here. We're pulling back. This is on the 10-second. And then we rally back up through 8. We break 8, topping tail. We pull back. We pop up to 850. We pull back up to 860. We pull back. And then it pulls away and goes all the way up to 10. And I was like, well, geez, what am I going to do up here? So I did end up getting a trade. And it was this pullback right in here for a curl back up. And I was fine with that. I mean, it was not a big trade, but I got about 23 cents a share on 10,000 shares, locking up $2,331.92 from 931, 938 up to 958. Not a huge winner, but it's green. I'm grateful for that. I certainly need the wins right now, being still in a drawdown. But when we look at this on the 1-minute chart, you can see how you have that nice ascending volume, but this sort of rejection right there, then it goes, and then a doji candle, red, then a topping tail candle here, gravestone doji, and then it rips back up here, and then it goes all the way up, little double top, pushes higher. That was on the 10-second, then it pulls back, then it comes up again to 10, then this was our first jackknife candle. That was our second jackknife candle. There was sort of one here as well, meaning it pops up, drops down, or drops down, pops up, just a big candle wick. And then it rallies here, and I just say, I don't want to mess with it. I don't have enough of a cushion. I've just got to keep chipping away at base hits. It's unfortunate to be in a drawdown and have to be more conservative, but it's better than the alternative, which is continuing to lose. So that was it. I didn't overtrade today, under trading, if anything, but trying to focus on just finding one good stock each day. Get in, get green, get out. Don't overstay my welcome. That's the name of the game. That's the path to recovery. And so that's what I'm doing. Now, this week we do have the possibility of getting news about the pattern day trader rule, which I think we're all, kind of anxiously awaiting. The news is supposed to come out on the 16th, the day after tomorrow. And so that's, currently something that it could be a pretty big deal this week. So definitely stay tuned for that. It could be a game changer in trading. This is the first time the pattern day trader rule has been seriously looked at and considered having it removed or greatly reduced since it was put into place over 25 years ago. So for my entire career, I've been subject to this pattern day trader rule, which has required me to keep more than $25,000 in my account. If this rule proposal goes through, the amount will be reduced down to just $2,000. That is pretty exciting. So, at this point, we don't know. We don't know if it's going to get approved or not. And if it does get approved, we don't know if there might be additional things that, come with that approval. So we're kind of playing a waiting game right now. But anyway, something I look forward to a little bit this week in terms of hopefully getting some news on that. And, as always, I'll be back at it, first thing tomorrow morning, chipping away a little bit at recovering some of the loss and hoping that we get a couple more days of moves like ROLR to give me a little more confidence to get more aggressive on them when they start to pop up. But right now, still being conservative, I think that's the right approach. So a reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, streaming at 7 a.m. for members here at Warrior Trading.